This is the hybrid path. So you're a career person plus you have your business. You know, there's people who call this a side hustle. Like you have to now generally ask yourself the question, which one is the side hustle? You have your 9 to 5 and then your 5 to 9. I was telling my wife about this the other day because we have a culture of just rising up early. More gets done earlier because later the 5 to 9 evening doesn't work for us because again that's when the children also demand what they demand. We have little kids, not so little kids, 6, 8, 10 year olds. So they are doing homework. They have activities after school. They have different things, and so 5 to 9 is not working. 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. is not our own 5 to 9. So our 5 to 9 has to be early in the morning. So that's where you get in work, do all of the things, send out, set things up. So mornings are very busy for us because we have to get things out of the way before people start rising up and getting jumpy. All right. So the hybrid part, this is best when career income funds business growth. Right. You have enough cushion financially from your job that's helping you that you can start putting into your business. Again, you don't want to this should not be a long-term play. At some point the business has to fund itself and take care of itself and begin to ease you out of the career, except you really want to stay in that career. It should be optional at some point where the business is doing well enough to where I can do this fully and be okay. And then I'm doing the career because if I stay in the career, that's because I love it. But getting into choosing the spot means have a job that can pay my bills, take care of my obligations, but also I have enough loose to invest in this business and be the initial capital that's driving this business and growing it, right? The This is also best when time boundaries are clear. Again, you know when the time for work is. You want to work when it's time to work. You want to. I'm an advocate for, do your job when it's time to do your job. On your employer's time, make sure you're doing your work. And then it's time boundaries are clear. You've figured out that again 5 to 9. My own is AM, a little earlier than that. We start really early, and then 9 to 5, you're on the job. Okay, so you have those in time boundaries, and then your business aligns with your long term goals. So what you're doing is aligned with what you want to do long term. Where you see yourself. So that's when. So again, for me, this is the part that I've taken. I took a season when I was trying to get Enstar Technologies, my for profit business, off the ground. I took some time off work. Now I was able to do that. Going back to the example that I gave earlier, when uh, um, I knew I had a skill set that was in demand. That will always, when it's time and I need to get back, if I did need to get back into the workforce, you know, I, I had I had what it took to get back in and not be out of work for too long. And so I took some time away to build out the foundations and the structure because for the longest time we started off doing this. And again, I'm sharing my personal story. I don't know why I'm telling you all of this, but I really do want everybody to win in our community. And so I started off, wife and I, we started our business then Enstar Technologies. We started doing the trainings in our house. So we started with the hybrid part. But we had some extra room, we had extra capacity, right? Work was fine, there was no kids. And so we could afford to take care of certain things by ourselves. And we grew it to, for the first couple of years, we grew it to a certain level and all of that, and that worked out. But at some point when it started looking like, okay, this is getting some traction, and this, it became difficult to be the one taking the calls and doing the social media and doing the graphics and doing the design and all of this, right? It became so like, hey, let's take some time and build operations around this. And then we started having children, so little kids, hospital appointments here, dental appointment here, business, work. It was a lot. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to take some time off work and focus on this business for a season, which I did, and in that time we were able to build structure. I hired staff, all of the things. And when we, finished that season, now I'm back in the, working, but also uh, um, building my business. But now I have a whole team, right? I have staff. I have staff for N-Star Technology. I have staff with African Bank Collective. And so we do all of this. I'm able to work. We have, with the African American Collective, I have there's a whole, group of amazing and incredible people who volunteer with us, who do different things. And so there's an even distribution here, and I'm not overextended. And that's one of the risks of the hybrid part is you're trying to be effective doing your job well, but also, you know, run the business effectively. You can overextend yourself without proper structure, without the proper infrastructure.